Back when I was in high school, there were a lot of funny, embarrassing, and awkward moments that happened in that part of my life. However, today I am going to tell you guys about an embarrassing moment that turned into an awkward one. So one day in my sophomore year of high school, I had dance class for 5th period. And at that point, it was after lunch, and I didn't want to do anything except be at home sitting on my bed and eating snacks. However, today in dance class, we had a test, so we had to do the waltz with one of our classmates. Therefore, me and my classmates were sitting up against the wall of the classroom while our teacher was on the other side of us, where the mirror was. And as our teacher started calling us up one at a time to do the waltz dance with our partners, I was sitting up against the wall, looking at the floor, contemplating my life decisions, especially the ones I made in high school. Therefore, since I was not paying attention in class, I assumed that our teacher was going to tell us when to stop dancing when she wanted us to. So then, when me and my partner were called up to do our waltz, our teacher started playing a classical tune to which me and my partner started moving our feet along the dance floor. And as we were dancing, I started to realize that we were dancing a little longer than we were probably supposed to. And I was thinking, did we do something wrong? Or did we not do something that our teacher is looking for? And that's why she hasn't stopped us? And that was when we heard our teacher's voice as she smiled.
You can stop whenever you want.
And of course, the whole class started laughing. And sometimes with things like this, people tend to forget about it over time, just like me, who likes to store these kinds of memories in the back of the abyss of my brain so that I don't have to think about those memories again and feel embarrassed all over again. And lucky for us, that is what happened. And it was a happy ever after.
Psych!
Yep, it is very unfortunate that half of the school already knew about it. And the only reason why I can think of why is because people are bored and love to tell stories. Now, it wasn't a horrible thing that happened because no one really bullied me or my partner about it. They just acted kind of weird and giggled a little bit when we were together for class assignments or hanging out with our friends. And this did add a bit of awkwardness that did not need to be there, and it made me a little uncomfortable every time I was near her after that moment. Therefore, I tried my best to ignore it and focused on the more important things, such as my friends and my classwork in high school. But that didn't change the fact that my partner brought up the situation at random times that hinted towards me. Now, I don't like making assumptions, like my partner in this case having an accidental crush on me because of what happened. So I didn't assume, because most of my assumptions are wrong, and everything would go wrong if I did assume. And this is because I only thought of my partner as a classmate and nothing more, because we weren't really friends. Fast forward to our junior year of high school when me and my partner had physics class together. So on the first day of class, our teacher thought it would be fun to go around the classroom and have us name an animal after the first letter of our names. So in that case, my partner chose an alligator. Fast forward a couple days later when our whole class had a lab assignment where we had to go into our lab groups, which were assigned to us by our teacher. And lo and behold, one of those people in my group was my partner from dance class. At first, it started out great. We were only focusing on class assignments and nothing more. Nothing out of the ordinary. Then, out of the blue, the boy next to our group had to blurt out,
"Hey, look, it's the bisexual alligator."
"Bro, that joke was so cheesy, it wasn't even funny." Okay, that's not what I actually said, but I guess that's what I kind of wanted to say, because I felt bad after looking at my partner's bright red face as she stared into her textbook. After that, I decided that every time we had a group assignment in that class, I would work by myself at my desk, which my teacher was fine with it because he realized I worked faster by myself anyway, which worked out. For the rest of our junior year, there wasn't really anything else mentioned about the subject, which was great, but I was wrong to assume that it was all over. For once, I was so thrilled that everyone at school was acting normal for once every time me and my partner were next to each other for even a second. It was perfect. It seemed that everyone had forgotten about what happened. I thought it would be a great opportunity to start on a new slate, and who knows, maybe someone will start rumors about me and my actual crush. But that didn't happen now, did it? Now you're all probably asking, well, who brought it up if everyone seemed to forget and no one was talking about it? Well, we forgot that my partner was probably affected in a similar way that I was, embarrassed in a very awkward situation. However, in my case, I hate to talk about these things because they're embarrassing, especially to me. And, like I said, I like to toss these kinds of memories in the deep abyss of my brain where I can't reach them. Here's an example. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. My dance partner was a very nice person, and if I had the chance, I would have been friends with her. But because that awkward situation happened and people kept bringing it up, that friendship would have probably literally killed me from the awkwardness that surrounds us both. And that got me thinking that maybe my dance partner was making these weird gestures to me because she wanted to try to be friends, to either get rid of the awkwardness or to try and be something more, like what other people assumed was gonna turn into because of the situation that happened in dance class. But again, because of that awkwardness that hovers over both of us, those actions that she tries to make towards me to try to get closer to me, it only pushed me away even more because I don't like that feeling of being so awkward, because it's like being pushed into a corner and it feels so claustrophobic and uncomfortable. It does not feel good. Anyways, so we are going to fast forward again to our senior year of high school. This was when me and my dance partner had art class together. Now, keep in mind that my dance partner was giving me subtle signs that she wanted to be closer to me. Now, to be friends or more than friends, I don't know, but that was what I was noticing. However, one day, one of her subtle signs had caught me off guard. Now, in our art class, one of my best friends was in the same class, along with some of his friends that he likes to talk to as well. And most of the time, while we were in our art class, we would all be sitting at the same table doing our art assignments. And one day, my best friend and his friends invited my dance partner over to our table to hang out. Everything was normal for a few minutes as we were working on our paintings at the time. And amidst the conversation between my best friend and his friends at the table, my dance partner blurted out,
"Girls are mysterious."
Now, this sentence that she said had caught me off guard because it felt as if she was trying to tell me that she was not sure why the situation in our dance class happened and why I'm probably acting the way I am because that happened. However, the other side of my brain was telling me that maybe she said this sentence because she experienced something else with another girl, which had made her realize that all girls, or most girls, are not easy to figure out, which is something that I also had trouble with in high school, as I had a huge crush on my best friend who is a girl. And to be honest, there were a lot of things that my best friend did to me back in high school that I was was probably overthinking a little bit, and that was probably how my dance partner felt at the time as she was giving me those signs. There is a possibility that my dance partner was probably confused as to why our dance lasted longer than it should have, and that possibly could have led to her thinking that I had a crush on her. And if that was the case, then that was because she was listening to the other kids in school who would tease us every time we would be next to each other, only for her to assume that I had a crush on her. And I hope that wasn't the case, and that she was only trying to be friends with me, because I don't know how to reject someone without them feeling depressed afterwards, and that makes me sad. And I didn't want to do that to her during high school because I was afraid that if I made it too clear that I just wanted to be friends, then she would be depressed to the point where she would go all emo. And I was only thinking this at the time because most of the people that me and my friends would be around in high school would be sort of like that. And yes, I had a cringy outlook on things back in high school, which makes me really want my mindset that I have now back when I was in high school. That way, maybe our relationship between me and my dance partner wouldn't have been so awkward between us. Now, for a long time after my dance partner had said that sentence back in our art class together during senior year, no one had talked about the situation between me and her back in sophomore year. And she didn't talk to me or give me any more signs, as so far as I know. And one early morning towards the end of our senior year of high school, I was walking the halls by myself where I rarely saw any of the other students. And that was only because most of them had zero period at the time. For context, if nobody knows, a zero period is a class that happens before our first period or our first class. And most people would take a zero period class. That way they can get out of school earlier without having a sixth period or a sixth class. So as I walked through the halls by myself, I noticed my dance partner hanging out on the side by herself, minding her own business. At the time, I figured that because she wasn't talking to me or giving me signs recently, I told myself that she didn't want to talk to me now. Therefore, I continued walking straight, kept looking straight, and ignoring her as best as I could. And then, as I was starting to walk past her, she came up to me and asked one simple question.
Do you know when zero period starts?
I'll just go ahead and answer her question without complicating things. No, I don't, sorry. Then at this point, she thanked me, and she continued to walk the opposite direction. I didn't think anything of it, so I just continued what I usually do by walking around the school before class started. However, as I was walking down the hallways of my school, I would notice that she would be standing in front of different classrooms by herself, almost like she was probably waiting for someone, but she kept moving places, so I was kind of confused. And then one time, as I was walking past her by herself in front of the classroom, she noticed that I was looking at her. And then she continued to walk in another direction. As soon as that happened, I quickly turned around to see if there was someone behind me that she probably saw. And that was when I saw another person about 10 feet behind me who was walking past the row of classrooms where we were at. At that point, I just figured that she saw that other person and decided to walk away, and that none of this had to do with me at all. So I decided to keep on walking. And honestly, after this occurrence, nothing else really happened because, well, we all graduated from high school after this, so I didn't really get to see her. So yeah, that's what happened, and I hope you guys enjoyed, and I also hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye!